Okay, so this tutorial is going to be how to do cuts and bruises, just because usually if I get asked to do one, I also get asked to do the other. This was requested by Adrian, aka Neo Shadow. So first I'm going to do cuts because that was what was requested. Make a new layer. Get out the pen tool. If you're new to the pen tool, I recently made a pen tool tutorial. Okay. I'm just going to do this on her bit of arm here just because it's a good area to start off with. Pen tool. I like to have rubber band on for this. Just click one point and click another. It doesn't matter how big or small you make it. I'd make it big because you can always make it smaller. Click and hold and drag and just make an arch. Not like a large arch, but relatively short arch, I guess you'd say. Hold the Alt key, click the point you just made, go back to the beginning, click and hold again, and just make another arch. You know, similar to the one you just made. And now you have a path. Now, I just like set the foreground color to, a dark, slightly desaturated bricky red. Fill path. You can use foreground color. You can always do color, dot, 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 and pick out the color. I just find it easier just to do foreground color. Then you can just right click, delete path, and now double click the layer. First thing you want to do is go to inner glow, make the color black, and set it to overlay. Now just mess with the opacity depending on what kind of picture you have, light picture versus dark picture, or how deep you want the cut to be. The harsher the shadow, the deeper the cut will look. Mess with the choke a bit. This will kind of make it go in more. Mess with the size a bit. Same thing. Put it on the edge. That's the automatic one. You can mess with the contour if you like. I prefer just leave that, the range and the jitter alone. Next up is outer glow. Now, I'm going to use a gradient. I'm going to put this on normal so I can see what I'm doing. I'm going to use a white to black actually, so just slide these back and forth. So it's white to black gradient. Because when you have a cut, it'll swell. And the edge of it will be a bit highlighted from the swelling, and the highlighted edge will cast a little bit of a shadow on the rest of the skin. Now you just put this on soft light or overlay. Mess with the opacity, of course. You can mess with the noise a little bit too if you want a more, this picture's pretty smooth, but some of them can be a bit pixely. You can mess with the noise to make it blend in a little better. Spread, mess with that. Mess with the size too. I like to keep a pretty small size. It starts out at 5. I'm going to do about a 3 for this picture. And I'm going to hike the opacity up just a bit. Alright. And that is how you do the cut. Now that one is pretty large. So I'm going to leave that one there and make another one smaller. To do that, all I'm going to do is copy that layer, drag it down over to the new layer thing, we'll copy it, edit, free transform, and just move it wherever I want and size it accordingly. I'm going to have this on her arm. Only you can rotate it around too. Whatever works for you, this is a great way you can make like 2 or 3 different cuts and then use them all over the picture. I'm just going to let it overlap because I want it coming over her arm. Now I'm going to make a copy of the background layer and make one of them invisible, the bottom one, and then I'm going to merge visible. Make the bottom one visible again, so it'd be background and background copy. Background copy has the cuts on it. And then you just go over the edge And using the polygon lasso or the eraser tool or the pen tool, delete from the background copy the pieces that overlaps. I'm doing this because we used a layer style which would continue over that little area if we just cut it from that layer. Then I'm going to use the dodge tool on midtones, 25%. Just a little bit in the middle there. And the burn tool midtones, 25%. The very small soft brush, yet again, just kind of emphasize the edge there. You know, she has a bit of a highlight there. You just want to go with the highlights. That's how you do the cuts. Merge down. For bruises, you start off with a purple color, dark purple, and get in your really patchy looking brush. I'm going to use one from the assorted brushes. Pretty small size. I'm just going to do it over here on her stomach and just put... Oh, I just did that on the burn tool. I'm silly. Here we go. And just, do a couple little splotches of color. Make a brand new layer again. And this one I'm going to go for dark green. Just going to splotch it on again. Make a brand new layer. And this one I'm going to do a dark blue. It's going to be kind of a dark desaturated blue. I'm going to do a little more blue than I did the other colors. And finally, black on a brand new layer again. And now, I'm going to go to the purple. I'm going to lower the opacity a bit. I'm going to go to the green, lower the opacity a bit. And why I did this on different layers is so you can put the opacity of each one differently, depending on your needs. The black one I put on top just because it'll darken the others. Make that invisible, merge visible, make it visible again, and then I'm actually just going to use a blur tool. Just blur it about. It's a little weak, so I'm just going to copy the layer. Merge down, filter, blur. Here we go, G-blur. And then you can do this over and over and over again, just size it to fit. Make a copy of it, drag it over. And this one, since you didn't use a layer style, anything that overlaps, you can just go in with the eraser tool. And correct. I'm doing a really bad job. I'm just showing you can do that. That's how you do bruises. You can even use the smudge tool, kind of move it around a little bit for a more natural look, because when you have a bruise, it's not perfectly shaped most times. And I hope that helped you out.